Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to the virtual studio. I am so excited to finally birth this passion project and bring you what I hope and intend will be the first of many mini classes in a series called Wisdom and Soul. And I have been dreaming about this for a long time, and now is the moment. And you'll actually see why when I get into a little bit of spiritual guidance about what's going on in the cosmos right now. But it has been such a deep intention of my heart to find ways to bring you even more value, even more insight and guidance for your spiritual path, even and especially when we can't gather as frequently, whether that's in person or during live workshops online, and just an opportunity for us to really check in with one another and keep growing, keep evolving, and using these moon cycles and seasonal rhythms and cosmic happenings that are going on all the time as way showers and guideposts along our path of health, healing, happiness, and harmony. I love to think of these cosmic events, and let me just be honest and clear, I'm no astrologer. I am just a completely insatiable spirit nerd who loves to learn about all of the things that are going on in life and in the cosmos, and how the macrocosm really truly does reflect and influence the microcosm. That's you. And I think that these signposts, they serve as these really fun little breadcrumbs along the scavenger hunt of you discovering your dharma and you living your purpose. And they give these really beautiful, powerful moments of pause and reflection so that you can really focus your attention and intention on what's coming in the next cycle. And the beautiful thing about this, and something that I teach to all of my clients and all of my programs, is that it gives us these cadences of reflection, right? So that we are setting goals, we are future paced, we're able to really think about where we're going, but it gives us this very intentional moment of pause to reflect on what's happening right now and just kind of course correct a little bit, right? If we need to shift things slightly, if we've gotten off track, or if we've forgotten our truth, or if you've held your tongue for too long, okay? These give us these moments of just taking a peek behind the curtain of what's going on in our physiology, our psychology, our spirituality, and making bitty changes and shifts that grandly affect where you're going in the long run. Okay. It's this concept that tiny hinges swing big doors. And I read this actually a couple of weeks ago, and this is coming to mind, that they say when a pilot takes off from Los Angeles, the difference between getting to New York City and getting to Boston is just a couple of degrees. But by the time they get there, they're in completely different locations that are hundreds of miles apart. And the same is true for your journey. You could be really marching along in a fabulous way. And if there's just like a little millimeter of a shift that you can make in your habits and your routines and your rituals, it's going to drastically improve and evolve where you wind up in the long run. Okay, so that's my intention for this series. And each one will be brief. So we'll get together for about 10 to 15 to 20 minutes so that you can fit these videos into your life, whatever you have going on, watch them in a time that really feels good for you and tap into this guidance, and we can tap into one another. And this is a gift always from my heart to yours. There is one thing that I ask for in exchange, and that is that you engage in this information. So leave me comments on the YouTube thread. You can always reply to the emails that these videos have been sent from. And occasionally, as it suits your path, I will leave links in the description of the YouTube videos so that you're able to learn more and deepen the practices that we come together and explore. So let it be fun, let it be interactive, let it be a co-creation, because as this is the very first one, today we're going to be discussing the full moon in Aries that is taking place tomorrow. So you'll have this information and this meditative practice to kind of take into the full moon with you tomorrow. But I really envision this being a co-creation where your feedback and your insight and your sharing with me about how this goes for you can just make these videos better and better and better and better. Yeah. Okay, enough of the preamble. I didn't expect to go into all of that, but I think it's important, right, to kind of set the foundation and expectations of the whole purpose of this. So let's really dive into today. So today on the Wisdom and Soul series, we will be looking at the energy that is present in the cosmos with this transition to the full moon in Aries, okay? So full moons in general, as you likely know, are really this time of illumination, right? The sun is opposing the moon. We have this bright light coming in the daytime from the sun and in the nighttime from the moon, and all of our sensitivities are heightened. Everything that we had been trying to brush below the rug, hide in the shadows, stuff down below the surface, it is being illuminated. When we have light coming in the nighttime and the day, there's nowhere to hide. So essentially all of your shit is revealed and you can see it. And this is why we say that people tend to go a little bit crazy during the full moon, because all of the things that we sort of numb ourselves to, we're just like, yeah, I just stuck that in there. No, there's no tucking it away. And sometimes that can be really challenging. And two, the moon is really this celestial body that represents emotion and intuition. And so when that is at its fullest and all of our stuff is revealed to its fullest, it can really elicit these heightened emotions that are sometimes challenging to navigate, right? But it's an opportunity, right? It's really an opportunity, as I was talking about this small shift degree of our attention and intention. It's this opportunity for you to say, okay, yeah, I have been holding on to that behavior for a little bit too long. Okay, I have been holding that grudge. Ooh, there is that little thing that still kind of triggers me. Am I willing to just clean it up a little bit so that I can achieve greater things in the future? And the energy that's happening right now specifically is really moving us. So sometimes with our full moon, when everything is being illuminated, it's a time of great reflection. We are shifting out of that time of reflection and into action, because not only do we have the full moon in Aries, which is all about like passion and determination and fire and sometimes competition too, competition with self or competition with others. And also we're going into this period where 4 planets are coming out of retrograde. And I'll actually give you a little bit of a meditation later to tap in with what that means. So all of this time of like backpedaling and reflecting and kind of stalling so things could fall into place. No, we are in a place of forward momentum, of progress through momentum, of taking the little action that's going to make a big change. And when we think about this energy of competition, it's really important that we do allow that to be, it's healthy competition, right? Because that's what motivates us and gets us to really show up as our best. But the person, the thing, the being that you should be competing with is your future self, okay? Not with other people, not with the things that you feel guilt or shame around, but with the version of you that is just so powerful and so expansive and healthy and emotionally intelligent and living her purpose or his purpose. That's the reference point. That's the standard that you want to hold yourself to. Okay, and we'll get in touch with what that looks like so that you can really align with that energy. Okay. So, and I just refer to my notes so I can make sure I don't miss anything because it's really important here, the energies that are happening. Yeah, and so while the full moon itself is in Aries, the sun is in Libra, and Libra is all about that balance. And so what we're being asked to balance here, right, is that competition from others to self, and also really getting clear on the desires of self and others. So where have you been living for the needs, wants, desires, expectations of others? And how have you been denying the needs, wants, desires, expectations of yourself? And how can we bring a little bit of equilibrium here, right? You focusing on self does not mean that you're going to turn into some selfish egomaniac and completely disregard all the people that you know and love. What you are being called to do is direct some of that fiery Aries energy into your own path while still serving those that you care about. And there might be a few things over here that you get to set some really clear boundaries on so that you have the time, space, energy to focus on self, but you're really being called to analyze, and not just analyze, but take action on where you have been misdistributing your power and your passion and creating some equilibrium there. Okay. We get to examine, and I read this a long time ago, and it just always really struck to me the difference between horizontal living and vertical living. So when we are serving others, when we are oriented to the past or oriented to the future, when we are really being dependent on validation externally, we are horizontally living. So all of our reference points are outside of us. And even though we may at some point reach a moment of satisfaction and satiation, it's fleeting and it's temporary. And so boom, we're right back in the cycle of frustration and disappointment. What we want to shift our energy towards, and what we're doing with all of these concepts, is reconnecting with what it means to be vertically living. So you are your reference point, and not just you, the small you. You know, one of the things that I really love to teach and to talk about are the 9 layers of self. This concept of Advaita, or non-duality, that was introduced way back in the 9th century by a sage called Adi Shankara, where we actually have all of these different layers to self. There's the universal soul, collective soul, personal soul, our mind, our intellect, our ego, our energy body, our physical body, our extended body, this pillar of self. And sometimes when we think about living vertically and really sourcing ourselves from within, it can feel like a challenge. It can feel like we're going it alone. But within that vertical pillar of who you are tapped into the heart of the sky. So you get to pull down all of the support of the cosmos, and you are tapped into the heart of the earth. So you get to pull in all of the resources of the natural world and allow yourself to be filled from top to bottom, centered in the heart space. And this is where true joyful living, self-love, and satisfaction comes from. So all of the things that you really get to think about taking action on this month are how to reorient yourself to heart-centered living that creates a balance between self and others and allows you to really truly shine by releasing some of the habits and patterns that have been keeping you stuck. In the Northern Hemisphere, we refer to this moon as the hunter's moon. And it was a time, you know, it's the second full moon after the equinox. It's a time when our ancestors used to gather and hunt and prepare for winter. And while we don't have that complete, you know, extreme necessity for survival now, we get to think about this energetically, where you get to hunt and gather the tools and the resources and the communities and the wisdoms and the lessons that are going to help you with that alignment, help you with that coming back to center, and really support you in your goals. Okay, so I want to guide you through a little bit of a meditation where we'll talk about, you know, the energies of the 4 planets that are coming out of retrograde, and invite you to think about, okay, what is it that you need to gather and hunt? Perhaps it is a lesson that you need to learn. Maybe it is a program that you've been wanting to take. Maybe it is a certain type of community because the people that are around you just don't quite get what you're trying to do and where you're trying to go. Okay, maybe it's a new pair of shoes to run in because you really know that you got to start running again because that's your thing, right? A new yoga mat, a new bundle of sage, a new journal, if you're somebody who really likes to journal, think about what it is that you need to gather so that these goals and aspirations and actions that you're being called to take that will sustain you through the darkness of winter and keep you grounded in this light so that it's easier and easier. Because why not? This is one of the wisdoms of tapping into the heart of the earth. Why not allow yourself to be supported in that in any way that feels good to you? Okay. So let's meditate. I invite you to go ahead and close your eyes. I just really dropped you right into that so quickly. I just was like, wow, that was a harsh transition. Okay, well, I want to guide you through a bit of a meditation here. So, with your permission, just go ahead and set anything down. I'm sure you've been taking furious notes. Just go ahead and set your notebook down, get yourself nice and comfy. And when you're ready to, just push back in your chair. Go ahead and close your eyes. And let's just take a deep breath in here through the nose. Big sigh to release. As you find comfort, just settling your hands down into your lap. And I really do invite you to place palms facing up for this, because this is all about, remember, illumination, receiving energy, taking action. So we want to amp up your energy field with the palms up. This is not a time for sleeping and resting. We've been doing that with all of these retrograde patterns. So really invite yourself to receive the wisdom that you need to receive here. Another big breath in. Exhale, sigh it out. Good. Another deep breath together. Exhale, sigh it out. Resealing the lips, breathing in and out of the nose. Coming into a place of connection with your heart space. Really thinking about these concepts that I've been sharing. This idea of gathering that which you need to be in your fullness, in mind, in body, and spirit, to access your potential in your health, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. As Pluto moves from retrograde to direct, it's really reorienting our relationship to our power. So what is it that you need, desire, require to feel empowered? And just trust your intuition, right? That's what moon energy is all about, emotion and intuition. Trust that the right answer is right there for you. As Saturn transitions from retrograde to direct, we are re-examining our relationship to our own potential. You are being called to create stable structures that free you from self-limiting behavior. What do you need, desire, require to be a bit more structured and committed to yourself and your practices? As Jupiter transitions from retrograde to direct, you're really being called to now take that structure and expand into your full potential, cultivating deep belief in yourself. And it may be that there's been something holding you back from doing that. What do you need, require, desire to shift into total opening and transformation? And finally, as our good friend Mercury transitions from retrograde to direct, we are re-examining our relationship to communication. And here I want you to think about it as we're reorienting away from others and towards the self. The communication that you've had with your physical, earthly human self and your higher spiritual expanded self. Really thinking about what your soul has definitely been guiding you towards, but your human just hasn't quite devoted itself to. What do you need, require, and desire so that you can dedicate yourself to those new habits and routines that will allow you to enter a whole new cycle? Placing one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. Just allowing yourself to be filled from top to bottom with the knowingness that all of those things you've identified that you need, require, desire, they are available to you. You simply get to open yourself up to receive them. Recognize when they come into your awareness and say yes to stepping into that. Let's seal all this in with an Om to really root your intentions into your heart and send them out into the universe so that all of the cosmos can conspire with you towards their achievement. We'll Om, starting with a deep breath in. Om. When you're ready to, gently open your eyes, coming back into this space. I love you. So as this is the energy of shifting from reflection to action, there are two things that I'm going to encourage you to do now. The first one is to take these four sort of questions, and I'll actually type them down below. So they'll be in the description of the YouTube video. In case you didn't quite remember, because we were in meditation, I invite you to take these questions and journal about what came up for you in each of these four areas that you need, desire, require under the full moon tonight. The full moon is actually at like 10 a.m. on Wednesday morning. So if you tap in on Tuesday night, it's great. If you tap in on Wednesday night, it's great. But really take this out and journal under the moon of what came up for you. Allow the light of the moon, even if it's cloudy, remember it's still there. Allow the light of the moon to illuminate your words, illuminate your page and your desires, right? And then talk to the moon, talk to the universe and say, because we're in this space of heightened emotion and heightened intuition, ask to be shown the answers that you can, the resources that you can gather to effortlessly connect you with these desires of yours so that it's easy, so that we're not in resistance. And just say, what would you have me know? What would you have me pay attention to? Please show me a sign, and open up that dialogue and allow yourself to be in receivership of just the right thing coming at just the right moment for you. Okay. And then get out of the way and let the signs come. And when your intuition says, like, fuck yes, this is the thing, take action on it, right? That's the invitation. So that's the first piece of it. And then the second is to reach out to me. I want to know how this was. I want to know how you're feeling, what came up in your meditation, what came up from our Dharma talk. Put it down in the comments below or email me in response to the email that this video was attached to. I can't wait to hear from you. I hope that you enjoyed this as much as I do. And I really look forward to our next Wisdom and Soul mini class in the series. I love you with all my heart. Have a beautiful day. Mwah. Bye, babes.